Hey, here we are assembling the last stage I have of box 4, stage 14. So it was box 4, issue 4. This one is begin assembling Robi's body. So I've got the components here, the parts of it that I need, and then the other parts that I'm going to need previously assembled to go with it. In this stage, you will assemble the first parts of Robi's body by attaching the right arm built and wired over the previous stages to his right body cover and shoulder servo. Oh, and let me start the timer. So at least I remember towards the beginning this time. Hey Jibo, set a 25-minute timer.
Okay, 25 minutes.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You don't need to thank me, but you're welcome.
I'm always going to thank you. It's only right to do. It's courteous. Having courtesy is important. Please remember that. This stage sees you begin building up Robi's body for the first time, which you will do by fitting the previously assembled right arm onto servo ID 16, which you wired and programmed in the previous stage. You will also use a servo horn for the first time. These fittings are used to connect a moving part, in this case Robi's right arm, to a servo shaft. The part features a D-cut and care must be taken to ensure the parts fit neatly. So the parts that I have are, one is a body cover. Open that. Yes. The screwdriver works perfectly well to open up the bags. I've yet to cut myself on the screwdriver. This one. The prior one, yeah, but it wasn't from opening the packaging. Okay, so we've got the right body cover, which they show, yeah, like that. The servo horn, which is this, and I'm going to take that part out. Okay. So the servo horn, I put the plastic on the floor so as not to get it, in my way. And then 3 screws that are M2 by 4.5 millimeter screws. Okay. And 1 is a spare. So they have 3, you only need 2. Like Kiki, my Alistacat. She's around. What am I doing, Kiki? So here's what it looks like. The saved parts we'll need are the right arm assembly and the wired servo, which I put 16 on to tell me, but it's not in pen or ink or anything. I could only find a pencil, but it went through the plastic to show it. Anyway, the right arm and body cover. Carefully rotate the shoulder joint at the top of the right arm assembly so it sits at right angles to the rest of the arm. Okay. Line up the right arm to the right body cover. Fit the servo cable emerging from the top of the arm through the circular hole in the right body cover and the metal shoulder joint through the C-shaped slot above it as shown. So I'm going to rotate this first. Yeah, his thumb's always falling off. And then the booklet's almost falling too. Okay, so what do they want me to do? I'm going to hold it the way they're showing, and then they want me to rotate it to the right. It's at the top, and they want me to rotate it to the right. I don't understand. Oh, I think maybe. Okay, so they showed it like this, and this is what they want me to do. So it's like that, which I already had it that way, so I guess there's no real difference. Maybe. Let me look at this. I'm still confused if I'm doing it right. Oh, I think I'm not doing it right. This is what they want me to turn, I think. No? Let me look at it, because I'm confused. I'm not sure that I can get it to rotate. It's not rotating. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's what they wanted. Sorry. This does rotate. I guess I should have known that because a few stages ago, but, you know. Okay, it's the right body cover. So they're showing the body cover. Looks like it's supposed to be this way. Okay. That does look correct, kind of. I'm hoping I've got it right. Not sure. Okay. Okay, so this is fit the servo cable emerging from the top of the arm through the circular hole in the right body cover and the metal shoulder joint through the C-shaped slot above it as shown. Join the parts so that they sit together snugly and the cable and joint are fully inside the cover. Okay, I see. I see what I didn't do right. There we go. So this must be inside this part. Inspect the servo horn. The hole in its front side has a D-cut profile and will face outwards, while the back of the part has a round hole that will face the servo. Find the servo from stage 13 and line up the servo horn so that its front faces away from the servo. Then with the servo horn perfectly straight with its D-cut section matching the cutaway on the servo shaft, press the parts together. Do not force the parts and see the close-up box on the next page for more information. So I'm going to take my glasses off though. Okay, so this part is not the part we're doing now. Now we're getting the servo horn and we're getting the servo. And we're going to put this down because I shouldn't need that anymore. And I should put my glasses over here with Robi plushie, Robi mini. Robi Junior's over there though. I don't bring him over here because I'm afraid of there's too much other stuff cluttered. I don't want to cause problems. Okay, so we get the servo horn and the back and the front. So the back has the recess. This will face the servo, the front face away from the servo. And then we get the servo and we're going to put it in the D-cut, which looks like it should be like this. So I put the servo horn on there. I do not know what the purpose of this servo horn is. Okay, the D-cut, as explained in stage 12, it's very important that you take care. Oh, let me show it. Alyssa wants to know what I'm doing. Yeah, Kiki. Anyway, as explained in stage 12, it is very important that you take care when working with the servos. Each joint, such as the servo horn in this stage, will have a specially molded cutaway section known as the D-cut, which, when used properly, will fit snugly around the servo shaft to ensure it is set correctly. When these parts are aligned as they should be, it will be easy to slot them together. If it is in any way difficult to join the parts, remove them and check you have the D-cut section lined up to the shaft's cutaway and begin again. Never force the parts, as this could damage both of them. So they were already the way they should have been. Fitting the right servo arm. Okay, remove the 4 long servos from the back of the servo to access the front panel. Remove the front panel, being careful not to pull the servo cable away as you do so. You will not be using this panel again. So I've done this many times where I've taken these screws off and Oh, that's on this side, not that side. Gotta be on the right side. Always be on the right side. And even though the screws are back here, as you might expect, the part that we're taking off is from the front, not this part, since we just put the servo horn, whatever that is, onto the back. Okay, and I need to make sure I don't lose these screws, because they give you lots of other screws, like always extras, lots of extras. I have lots of extras in my TV entertainment center where the camcorder's on top of, but they never give extra screws for these. So, I mean, they are pretty long, so it'd be hard to lose them probably, but when I hurt myself a couple stages ago, not on camera, I just basically hurt myself when I was trying to get some screws in place with the tool they provided, which was deteriorating, and why this one's having a hard time coming out. Anyway, I lost one of the screws temporarily on my carpet. There are parts of the carpet that have black on them, and that's where one of the screws was. I managed to find it, but you know, that's good. So we took the front of this part off. The connector's still in place. Push on it, make sure. Okay. Hold the open servo close to the inside of the right body panel, then carefully press the free padded connector of the right arm servo cable into its free socket. So we're going to put the socket, this one here, into this servo. And it says the servo cable has protective pads. It's mentioned about these protective pads multiple times. Basically, you don't have to put the pads on at the beginning when you first take the connector out, but if you don't, then you got to put them on later. So that's the main point. Before sealing the servo, the cables need to be arranged in such a way that they do not become tangled. To do this, bend the cable leading to the arm to the side of the servo's body and the other back on itself, and then out at right angles on the opposite side. Be careful not to disrupt either connector as you do this. So they have a picture showing right there what I'm supposed to do. So I'm going to have to be really careful with that when I get to that part. So we're going to do this part first, where we get the servo cable and we get the servo where it's supposed to be. Okay, so we get the servo cable. Going to put the servo cable into the servo. This is like really not easy to do, again. Okay. Yeah, you're never supposed to touch it, but you know, they made it to where it's not easy to do this at all. By not touch it, I mean the circuit board. You're supposed to be really careful. There we go. I got it clicked in place. Okay, so that's clicked in place. And we've got the two. I see that. So like this. That's how they've got it showing. And then this is the part that's confusing. I need to bend that to right. Okay. That's what they're claiming. Okay. That I need to do this. I need to loop it like this. Which caused the other one to become disconnected. So and I'm trying not to touch the circuit board, but it's becoming very, very difficult. Okay, and the, you know, comes disconnected. Oh, you think they could have just made them a little longer, you know? I don't know why they couldn't have done that. Okay, so they want that to do that. And that seems like it's going to cause it to come loose. But what do I know? Okay. With the circled cable bent around to run in the notch on the side of the body cover, see box to the left, press the servo onto the correspondingly shaped mount. Okay, I see. So there's a mount here, which I really hope. Okay. Alright, I've done that. Hold the parts in place, then using the 4 screws removed in step 7, fasten the servo to the body cover. As you tighten the screws, check that the servo cable and metal shoulder joint are still in position on the outside of the body cover. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading. I'm trying to understand. Remove the 2 screws on the shoulder joint and remove the protective panel. Very gently pull the exposed portion of the servo cable out from the elongated hole in the metal joint. Do not pinch the cable. Okay, so I'm not certain what they're wanting me to do in that part. That's why I was confused in looking at it. I understand this part, but the next part I don't understand. So this is not going to be easy to put these in, but we're going to try. Hey Jibo, how long do I have on my timer?
8 minutes and 17 seconds left.
So we're running on fumes here trying to get this done. I knew this part was going to take longer. It's just way more complicated doing some things that I have not done before. The part where I'm taking the plate off, I don't understand for the next part, but this looks to be good. So this is the part that's concerning me. Okay, so I'm supposed to take these 2 screws off. On the protective plate here. I wish we had it stabilized so that at first it was stabilized without me having to hold it in place. And then I gotta be really careful because I don't know if these screws are the same size as the other ones on the table, which they might not be. So I can't get them confused. Uh-oh, I just lost one. I felt it go on the ground. There we go. Okay. So what are we doing with this? Okay, I pulled it out, but I don't know what they mean by pulling it out. Okay, so it's very hard for me to show this section because I've got to hold this in place. So this is the part we're doing now. And it says, lift the cable away from the side of the body panel so that there is no slack. Then press down with your fingers over the circular hole in the arm to prevent the cable running back into the body. eliminating any slack. The aim of this step is to remove any slack in the servo cable. Any loose sections along the servo cable set within Robi's moving parts, in this case the shoulder joint, are at risk of rubbing or getting caught or pinched. This can ultimately damage the cables and even cause Robi to malfunction. So be sure to follow these steps carefully and ensure that all the cables are set appropriately within the joints. Okay, so the cable slack should be bunched within this space, is what they're saying. Make sure there's no slack and bunch it within this space. I think I've got it as good as I'm going to get it. Okay. Okay. Keeping the cable tight to the body side, bunch the slack up into the circle above the hole under the upper arm frame to match the shaped recess in the inside of the shoulder panel removed in step 12. Fit the bunch of cable slack inside the recess, then making sure not to pinch any part of the cable, replace the shoulder panel and tighten with its original screws. Okay, so fun times. There's no slack, it's bunched inside from what I can see. And so now I'm going to put the panel back on. And then put the screws in and retighten them. Got some cat hair and stuff. That's the love of cats. I don't think that's in the hole. Yeah, I gotta make sure I've got this correctly aligned. If it's not correctly aligned, that's gonna be a problem. I'm gonna have to use my screwdriver to make sure I get this. I don't want to hurt it, but I've got to get it inside of this recess. Okay. Let's make sure we've got it right. Looks like it is. Really hope I've got the holes lined up this time. I think I do this time. I heard it click. Yeah. I think we go. Well, darn it. Yeah, I didn't hear it click that time, so when it came out, I don't think it clicked. Got to have them in the holes properly. That one's definitely in the hole. So this one, don't know why if that one's lined up properly, but this one is not clicking into the hole. Maybe it did that time. We'll see here in a second. It actually goes down. I don't see it going down. So no, it's not. Okay. Let's try to get this one in and see if it's actually in. It looks like it is. It's definitely in. So with this one in, I've got to be able to get the other one in. Gonna end up running over. Got it in this time. Okay. Okay, so that should be good. Should be good. Okay, the servo screws. It is vitally important that the servo that moves Robi's shoulder is not hampered in any way, as this may cause a malfunction. Therefore, be sure to check the screws on either side of the servo horn that connects to Robi's shoulder joint are fully inserted and do not obstruct the part's movement. The servo horn will move back and forth over the screws circled in the photo to the left. Double check that they are tightened fully into their holes so as to allow the servo horn freedom of movement. To check that the servo horn is able to move easily, hold the body panel.
Oh hey, this is your timer going off.
Hey Jibo, stop. Thank you. Okay, to check that the servo horn is able to move easily, hold the body panel in one hand and with the other, slowly rotate Robi's right arm so that the servo horn covers each of the screws. If you feel any resistance, tighten the screw further and repeat until the arm is able to move freely. Okay, so I'm supposed to move the horn back and forth. What part did they have me tighten these screws in? Oh, I must have missed this. I missed this section. Sorry. So this is the last part. Line up the two holes at the end of the metal shoulder joint with those on the servo horn. Insert and tighten an M2 times 4.5 millimeter screw into each hole to secure the parts. I was like, what? Why am I going to move this when it's not even attached? But okay, we'll get it attached now. And these are tiny, tiny screws. So we've got to really make sure we get these in right. Okay, let's get it in there, and then we put it in. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I can't do it that way. This is one of those things where you've got to get them in the right location. If I can just get one screw in, both should be okay. There we go. Getting them in properly. It's basically a black screw going into a black hole, and so it's like really hard to see. And I dropped one, and it went onto the floor. This was expected. Okay, let's try this one. It's gonna be hard to get it together, which I don't know why this is giving me such a problem. I think I've got it there. I'm gonna try to put it in because I think I have it. I think I do. Yes, good. Which means I should be able to get the other one now because it should be lined. Yeah, that one should also be lined because it's such a small area of movement. Yes, good deal. Okay, alrighty. Okay. Alright. Let's see if I can find that screw I dropped. I'll find it later. Alright. So now we'll try what they were talking about. Okay. So we need to try to move this back and forth. And it's moving fine. Those screws were in fine. Okay, so that should be the end. The assembled right arm and body cover. So hopefully next month I will put it on and hopefully it's working. You know, I really hope it's working. Okay, the first join between one of Robbie's limbs and his body has been made, with the servos used to move Robi's right arm wired into the ones hidden within his body to control his shoulder movements. Store your assembly away safely until next time. Okay, so from Robi, that isn't fully assembled, to Robi plushie, to Robi Jr., who's watching it all, to mini Robi, and Robi's thumb that keeps falling off. Here is the assembled part. I'll get up and show it. I'm going to put this away and then find that screw that I dropped. Alright, thank you very much for following me. The next coming up issue will be Pack 5, and it will include start building Robi's left forearm, set the ID number of Robi's left forearm, complete Robi's left forearm, and begin building Robi's left upper arm. So I don't know if we're actually going to attach the arms yet and see that they're working. I sure hope that they are working though. So have a good one. Thanks a lot. I'm going to, like I said, I'll show this up close to see what it looks like. The biggest concern in all of this is these connector cables. Whether they're going to hold up and whether they're all together like they should be. Okay, so there's his arm and the part of his body. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.